In my last video, I shared how one of the design styles that I created in my new print-on-demand shop has absolutely blown up. I have now taken that design and put it on several different products, and it just continues to sell on repeat. This is definitely a great way to double down. When a design is getting sales, you list that design on new products. In today's video, though, I want to take a little bit of a deeper dive and show you another way that you can really double down on your winning design styles. If you're watching this and you don't have any sales yet, that's okay. I'm going to show you how you can still use this same strategy in your design research to create best-selling designs. I think what trips a lot of people up about designing is that they just overcomplicate it, and I find that the hurdle that most people have to overcome is perfectionism. More often than not, in my experience, any of the designs that I've had actually become bestsellers are the designs that took me less than 5 minutes, or they're designs that I created, didn't really feel super confident about, but just listed anyway. Those are the ones that always end up doing the best. I don't know what it is, but that has taught me to just let go and let God. Whatever is meant to be will be. I think that going into creating a design with a relaxed feeling of just, I'm not going to overthink it, and when in doubt, just post it. Now, getting over perfectionism is much easier said than done, but I do have a formula for creating a best-selling design that I think is going to help. If you are new to my channel, hello, my name is Taylor. I am a print-on-demand entrepreneur. I started my print-on-demand journey a little over 2 years ago, and to date, I've sold over $450,000 in print-on-demand products. Here on my channel, I talk about all things print-on-demand, passive income, and entrepreneurship. So if those are things that interest you, be sure to boop the subscribe button down below. What I like to do when I have a design that's selling on Etsy, first thing I already mentioned, I like to add that design as is to other products that make sense for the shop that it's in. The other thing that I like to do is analyze the design components and figure out how I can take those winning components and then use them to create something new. And if you haven't had any sales yet, you don't necessarily have a winning design, then this is what you can do. And so here I am in Etsy, and what I'm doing right here is what I like to call design research. I like to look at what is currently selling, what the design styles look like, and analyze the components of it. So let me break it down and show you exactly what I mean. Here with this first listing, what I am first looking for is indicators that this is a popular product and that it is selling. I can see that by the fact that there's a bestseller badge. I can see it's in demand. 106 people have bought this in the last 24 hours. And then I also use Everbee, which is a research tool. I'll have a link to it in the description box below, but that is where I'm pulling all of these analytics at the top here. So we can see that this listing is estimated to have around 1,300 monthly sales. It is only a month old. And another thing that I can do with Everbee is analyze the listing. Here we can see a little bit more specific information, like their estimated monthly revenue. They're raking it in with this listing currently. I can also see a little bit of the trajectory of this listing and just kind of the path that it's currently on. In the last 30 days, it looks like it has just been on a steady climb. Now, this design in particular is holiday related, so it's probably not going to just continue to climb. It's probably going to start to see a decline here shortly. Nonetheless, this is a great listing to pull inspiration from. What I like to do for my design research is look at this and try to explain it to somebody who isn't looking at it. Imagine somebody's blindfolded and you're trying to tell them what this design looks like. That is what you want to do to analyze the design components. For this design, I would say it is a large graphic on the center of a sweatshirt. It has a watercolor aesthetic to it. It's a giant Christmas tree that has string lights down it, and it has a giant pink bow at the top. It's gonna feel weird explaining a design like that. It seems so obvious because our brain is subconsciously thinking all of those things, and then when you speak it out loud, it just seems very odd. But trust me on this, this is truly the formula in how you are going to start recognizing what design components are working. Here's another listing. Let's do the same thing. For one, the reason that I chose this listing is because, again, looking for things that are showing that this product and this design is selling, that it is in demand. I can see that by this little label right here. This item's currently in 7 carts. This listing has been on Etsy for about 4 months. Right now it's seeing about 16 monthly sales. In total, it's seen about 70 sales, and it also has a really high amount of favorites, which is a good indicator that people like this design style. What I would gather from this is that it has text on the top, text on the bottom. The text is in a more handwriting script-like font, and in between the two sections of text, there is all of these graphics. Now, specifically, these graphics are more of that line art style. Another thing that I can make a note of with this design is that they chose to make it all in one color, and for this, the color they chose was pink. Here's another listing, again in 7 carts, 23 monthly sales, 146 total sales on Etsy for about 7 months. So it's a little bit of an older listing, and it also has 440 favorites. This design style is in the shape of a square. It has a checkered board like print, and in the checkerboard spaces, it has flowers that some are transparent, some are not. It also has a distressed overlay to it. This listing, another bestseller, 47 monthly sales, 141 total sales, only 3 months on Etsy, in 7 carts. This design style has a large pink bow, just like the first design that we looked at. It is also a watercolor style graphic. There's text around the graphic that actually follows the shape of it. There's one little graphic down below the bow, and the text that follows the graphic is in more of that fancy script font. Something that's really important during this process that I don't want to get lost is that I'm not looking for designs that I like. I'm looking for designs that have proven demand for them. Ultimately, those are the types of design components that I can pull from that are going to help me create a listing that's going to sell. So you want to make sure that you are looking for those indicators like bestseller badges, popular now, it's an item that's in X amount of carts, it's sold a certain amount in the last so many hours, and then also using some type of research tool. As I mentioned, I use Everbee when I'm doing this research in Etsy, and so if you aren't using Everbee and you want to try it, I actually have a link that will get you your first 2 months for the price of 1. So that will be down below for you to try. Just by going through those 4 listings, I now have a huge list of design components that are actually based on demand. And I can feel a lot more confident creating designs with these design components because they already have some proof of concept that people are interested in these specific styles. 2 of these designs that we just looked at are actually 2 of the design styles that I just recently created design templates for my community, the POD Connection. Each month in the group, I add in just ready-made, done-for-you design templates based off of this type of research and what is actually selling on Etsy. And so just to kind of give a glimpse of how this list of design components then translates into actual designs that are unique and have more of a potential at actually selling and becoming a bestseller. Here is one that I did for the group recently. It was based off of the bow design with the script font around the edge. I ended up modifying it to this butterfly graphic, and I decided to add just a Bible verse with it, and it follows the shape of the wings. This is a perfect example of taking a formula, taking a design and design components that are already working, and then reapplying them in a new way that creates something that isn't just completely from scratch. You have some foundation, but it doesn't look like everything else that already exists. Another example is this design here that's molded after the pink doodle design that we saw on Etsy together. This one I made into a St. Patrick's Day theme, and I think this is another really great example of taking the structure and the framework formula of the design and then repurposing it in a new way. I'm still using a lot of those same components that we pulled out with the text on the top. For this, I didn't add text on the bottom like the other design. I did a very similar script-like font. I used line art graphics in kind of that messy collage style that we saw on the other inspiration listing. And then I also chose to make the design all one color because it's St. Patrick's Day. I made it green. And I'm hoping that so far this is starting to pull the pieces together. We look at design components, we pull those design components into creating our own unique design. If you were curious about the POD Connection, that is where I add in all the design templates like these for members of the community. The doors to it are currently closed, but they do reopen on January 1st. So I will have all of the information in the wait list for you to be notified when doors reopen if that's something that you're interested in. this is coming along so cute. Now I want to make a couple other little modifications. What I've done so far, I have the bow graphic as you guys saw. Then I decided to do this font. It's called Halmera. It's one of my favorite script fonts in Kindle. And then I added a text transformation, which is honestly why I typically go to design in Kindle, is to be able to use these different text transformations. I went ahead and just did the custom route, just moving and adjusting and fine tuning. It's a little tedious, but it definitely got the job done. And depending on the graphic that you're looking to mirror this same design component on with the text around the edges, I think that's a really good tool to use for it. Now, I do want to change the color of the font. So you could leave it like this, but I don't know. I just think it would look a little bit better if I made it match the bow. I kind of want the text to match a little bit of the red in the bow. Clicking into the color, I'm going to use the color dropper tool, and let's go into where the red, I kind of want to do this like more muted red. That looks okay. I think I'm gonna just darken it. I think I'm gonna do something like that. Yes, that looks super cute. So let's go ahead and just copy this hex code and change the rest of the font to match. One of the best ways to really get an eye for a design is by putting it on a mock-up, put it on the product type that you're anticipating selling it on. So here we have it. I think this looks super cute. Let's create another design. Here we have designs 2 and 3. I wanted to do a little bit of opposite extremes, going the whole anti-Valentine's Day route. That's always a fun one. And then also just a classic Valentine's Day design. And these were inspired by the components that I pulled from this design here, with kind of that mix-matched collage type feel. That's really what I was going for here. And then the second design, I wanted to really bring in the line art style that I saw. And then of course, because it's Valentine's Day, I also went with the pink theme, but bringing this same style into, of course, a completely different niche. I'm really excited for you to try this formula when you're creating your next design. Let me know in the comments how it turns out. And also, if you're not already using Kindle to design, which is the design software that I was using to create the designs today, I do have a discount code. It is Taylor PODYT. That is going to save you a little bit of money on a Kindle plan. If designing is still something that you feel you need an extra hand with, then check out the POD Connection, my community that I mentioned earlier. That is where I create and add to our done for you design template, whole entire file. You get access to all of the design templates and all of the additional ones that get added to it each month. That is a fantastic resource to get you started. And there's so much more to the community as well. The waitlist to join is in the description box, or maybe if you're watching this in the future, then it's already back open and you can go ahead and join down in the link below. As always, I hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.